Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode number 65, coming to you from Chomutov and from Philadelphia. We are here today with a very exciting and special episode. Today we will be talking about animal noises and animals across different cultures, so it should be a lot of fun. I've been trying to do my 3 to 5 months of pod prep research here and also talk about how some different animals are considered sacred in other cultures and what their roles are. So should be an interesting episode, especially for all of our animal lovers out there and for all of our people out there who want to hear us try to make some ridiculous animal noises in foreign languages. So I hope you enjoy it. It should be a fun episode. Without further ado, I would like to introduce my co-host and my buddy, or in the theme for this episode, my dog, Jared. What's going on, Jared?
But first, your two most favorite animal noises, everyone, Chad and Jared, back again for another Untranslatable podcast. You can follow us, and you can read yet in our animal noise voices tweets on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. Our Instagram is Untranslatable Podcast. And you can email us, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com, and tell us untranslatables, which is the namesake of our podcast, which means sayings. Sayings from around the world that don't really make any sense if you translate it into English, but make perfect sense to people of that language or people that use them. Sayings that your parents might have said to you that make perfect sense but don't really make any sense at all, but you know what they mean. Or tell some travel stories or something, I don't know. Or spread a little love with 5-star reviews on Stitcher and iTunes. That would be great too.
So, buddy, I want to ask you, what was that untranslatable that your mom would always say? It was like something like, I'm not gullible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Who am I? Josephine Donut?
There we go. Yep, that was the one. Nice. Nice.
First of all, I would like to say I'm so mad I forgot this. This is so embarrassing. Shout out to Puxatawny Phil for calling a early spring.
Oh, that's right.
The majority of our listeners have no idea what I just said.
That's true. That's true. That's the groundhog, right?
Yeah, Groundhog Day was February 2nd, which is essentially a holiday where in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, I found this happened in Pennsylvania, which is my current home state. They wait for this. I don't think it's been the same groundhog forever. That that wouldn't add up.
Right.
But they
not.
name a groundhog Puxatawny Phil for name after the city for some reason. I'm not telling you the full story. And what they do is they wait for the groundhog to come out on a certain day of the year, and if it comes out first thing in the morning and sees its shadow, that means that there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter.
Yep.
And if it doesn't see its shadow, then that means that there's going to be an early spring. But then, from what I've also heard, it's almost always wrong.
Yeah. We used to actually watch this. What is it? How do you say it?
Puxatawny Phil.
Puxatawny Phil. We would watch this
Phil, actually.
In school, I'm pretty sure. And almost every year, it was usually the opposite of wherever the groundhog did.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous. As far as traditions go, this has to be one of the most ridiculous ones ever.
Right.
Just period.
I wonder what even started it. Who had the idea? We'll just because doesn't he have like a special like house or something? I remember it looked super fancy. I don't know. It was
you're
right.
My pay grade.
It's a big. It's a big holiday. Like it's televised. I think the mayor shows up. The mayor of Puxatawny.
Yeah, but what is that? That doesn't. I can't imagine that means much. The mayor. People probably run into the mayor at Walmart every other day.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's true.
I mean, Puxatawny. I don't know much about Puxatawny, but I can't imagine it's a bustling. It's not like running into, say, like who's the mayor of New York, De Blasio or whatever his name is.
I think so. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I totally forgot that even happened. And I stumbled upon it through my scrollings. I want to I have some teacher news for you. I like to
Oh,
to
nice.
get your
Okay, great.
opinions on teacher happenings around the world. And this is a happening at a prestigious university, Duke University. Have you heard about this?
Oh, was this about the? I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
I'll just explain it.
Wait. Let me take a stab. Isn't it? I forget. She was like a director of something or something, and she said Chinese students should not speak Chinese outside of class or something, or in class. What was it?
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. I'll give you the details, but yes, you're right. So there was a Duke University professor. She was a professor, but I also think she is like the director of some department or something. A Duke University professor who emailed students asking them to commit to using English 100% of the time while in department buildings has apologized for her message, saying it was inappropriate. And this came out before, but she has also since resigned as well, because I think the too much heat, the heat just kept coming.
I'm sure.
So it was probably one of those resignations where it's like Duke's like, listen, we don't want to fire you, but we can, like, if you resign, we'll hook you up for a while, and
Right.
right, just let this go easy.
It's in the best interest of both parties if you just resign right now. Yeah.
I deeply regret the hurt my email has caused, said Megan Neely, an assistant professor. Oh, assistant professor. That's pretty ballsy for someone that doesn't even have tenure yet.
Right.
Assistant professor means you don't have tenure, right?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know a lot of the inner workings of academia like that, to be honest.
Okay. Anyway, let me keep going. A biostatistics stated in a follow-up email to students on Sunday. This is after heat started coming. It was not my intention moving forward. It was my. So anyway, what she did was in her department, the what did I just say was the biostatistics department. There are there are students from all over. This is one of the most prestigious universities in the world, and so they obviously get people from all over the world. And she was hearing Chinese students speaking Chinese in her words, very loudly in in the common areas, and she was saying that she wrote them an email saying, Neely said, let me get this right. Until recently, Neely was also the director of graduate studies in Duke Biostatistics Department. Early Saturday, she sent an email to dozens of Duke students that started out
Innocuously?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Slipping on gator piss. Enough. Something. This is the subject of the email, and you can already tell by this douchey subject.
What's the subject? What's the subject?
Something to think about. ...
Oh no! Oh, she used the ... Oh no, that's not good. I feel like no professor should ever use a ... in their email subject title. I don't think anybody should in general.
It's just so like patronizing, especially with the title. Just something to think about.
Right.
Hey, you don't have to use it or not. This crossed my mind. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ooh, watch yourself. Knock that pop filter right on out of there.
Yeah, I got excited. All right, anyway. So, I cover my face now. Anyway, so something to think about. The message was addressed to all first and second year of biostatistics graduate students at the North Carolina University. Duke. It's always I read this before and that sort of confused me because there also is a university called University of North Carolina,
UNC.
but they say the North Carolina University because Duke's in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Neely said in the email that that two faculty members have visited her office earlier that day asking for pictures of biostatistics graduate students. She said she had obliged, then asked why they wanted to know. According to Neely, her colleagues wanted to identify students they had observed speaking Chinese, in their words, very loudly.
Oh, geez.
In the student lounge and study areas. First of all, I even hate that I'm going to emphasize this, but student lounge and study areas, these are just common areas.
Right.
I think maybe an argument could be made if it was in a classroom,
Sure.
where it's like we're trying to teach teach in this class, and we teach like English in a classroom. Like, so can you? I might be able to. I mean, I'd probably understand that, but in just common areas where people are just sitting around, it's ridiculous. So anyway, Neely underlined the next part of her email in bold. Did you hear that?
No. Let's hear it.
Just
What's
to add to the
part?
pretentiousness, she underlined the next part and bolded it. They were disappointed that these students were not taking the opportunity to improve their English and were being so impolite as to have a conversation that not everyone on the floor could understand.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
If the implications weren't clear enough that Neely was encouraging students to speak only English or else face unseen barriers to future opportunities within the department, she spelled it out in her next paragraph. She's not done, by the way.
How long was this email, dear Lord?
Well, let me just read this final little paragraph that is a direct quote, just make it clear. I need to zoom in on this a little bit. Daddy's getting old. To international students, please, 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 in caps lock, caps lock,
Jesus.
Keep these unintended consequences in mind when you choose to speak in Chinese in the building. I have no idea how hard it has been and still is for you to come to the U.S. and have to learn in a non-native language. As such, I have the utmost respect for what you are doing. That being said, I encourage you to commit to using 100% English. Excuse me, let me say it correctly. To using English 100% of the time when you are in the Hawk or any other professional setting. I assume the Hawk is like their sort of graduate building or whatever. So Neely closed her message by noting she was copying second-year biostatistics graduate students on the email as a quote-unquote reminder because they were in the process of applying for jobs. So, just let me warn everyone because there are other Chinese students here too. And, careful with that Chinese if you want to get a job.
Right. That's crazy.
And she also said, of course, she's happy to discuss more. You can stop by my office if, And then so images of the email were passed around on Twitter and Instagram, of course, because it's 2019, and that's what's
going to happen.
That's what college and graduate students do when they get emailed some as the kids say fuckery.
Right.
And so the students were complaining about racial discrimination and questioning whether and accused Neely of racial discrimination, and the unnamed faculty members all as well, and questioned whether the students had been targeted because they were speaking Chinese as opposed to another foreign language. Because, as I mentioned, this is Duke, a very international school. Mm-hmm. So there are students not just from China that I assume they're mentioning, or I could just keep reading. Like, this is not meme news, people. This is the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, the world's richest adulterer. I'm an international student. Let's guess how many times I've been asked not to speak French. One Twitter user wrote, appending. I love how the Washington Post gets all fancy with their usage of words, using the eye roll emoji, essentially saying she's like, yeah, I'm French and I have French friends, and we've spoken French all the time, and no one's ever said anything. Well, that's
right.
Interesting.
Right. I mean, I was speaking German with my colleagues and some of my friends at MSU who were German. I mean, it's a little different when you're in the language department, but
that's true.
That's just one. I have to say, for being a former graduate student and being a teaching assistant at Michigan State University, there were so many students that were international students that would never fly. It doesn't matter if you take out the word Chinese and even put foreign languages. It's like, look, it's one thing if you have them in your classes and the whole time they're being disruptive and maybe they're speaking a foreign language. But at the same,
but that's the thing though.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
If they were in the class being disruptive because they were speaking their language in class, it wouldn't be because they were quote unquote speaking their language. It would just be because they're having conversation in class,
Right.
Which would be just as annoying if it was an English speaker that you could understand.
Well, not only that, though, but I think we also are making a lot of assumptions here. I think there might also be maybe some difficulties with the language, and maybe they're asking one of their peers who shares the same native language as them to explain something as well. I mean, I've definitely had Chinese students in my German classes before, and they were explaining things to each other in Chinese when they didn't always understand. And I could tell they were explaining things because they were looking at the book. They were, you can tell. You can tell as a teacher when the
Body
students are
language.
helping they're helping each other out versus if they're just fooling around or having a conversation. But yeah, I mean, that's one. I think that email is horrible for a lot of reasons, and I think she deserved to resign or be forced to resign, whatever happened behind the scenes. Because
I'm not sure what happened to the other the other faculty members, but I would assume that they resigned too. But I'm not sure, only because this came out a couple days ago.
And the other thing is too, one, who cares if they're speaking a foreign language in the common areas? It's a free country. You can speak whatever language you want. I think the problem is there's a lot of, and I would be willing to bet that this woman is probably a monolingual person.
Probably, yeah.
And what that means is I think a lot of people who are monolingual, for some reason they assume when they hear a foreign language, I think you probably know exactly what I'm going to say, they assume that people are talking about them, right?
Yeah, people get very defensive, yes.
Right. And so...
Which I think that's foolish in a setting like that.
I agree.
But in certain settings, say there's four people hanging out in a room. Three of them speak the same language, but they all speak English. And one person doesn't speak the language that the other three are speaking, and they're having a conversation and laughing and joking around. And you're just kind of like, well, hey, what's going on? And they speak perfect English, and it's like, can I get in on this too?
Right.
And that might be a little uncomfortable, but that's totally different. She's walking through the common area, and the Chinese students are sitting over there hanging out or studying or whatever. And just in passing, she's like, "Oh no, what is this? What are they saying? What are you guys talking about?"
Right. I also wonder.
That's just discomfort with. That's just, I guess, xenophobia is what you'd call that.
Right. Exactly. And I also wonder. I'm a little concerned that I think she also made assumptions that, how does she know they're speaking Chinese? Unless they only have Chinese international graduate students. But I would be willing to bet there are probably a few from South Korea, maybe some from Japan. Maybe
probably.
Some from Taiwan, although they do speak Mandarin in Taiwan as well. But I think there are a lot of assumptions going on with this email. And one, it was how stupid can you be to send out an email like this? It would be one thing. If, like in my English classes, if our strict policy on the syllabus is when you step foot in my English classroom, you should be speaking English 100% of the time. If that's in the syllabus, if that's what's expected, that's a different story. But I guarantee you, I can't think of any university in the United States where they have it written down somewhere in like the student code or whatever that you have to speak English whenever you're in a campus building. That's ridiculous. And once again, it's a different policy if you go somewhere to learn a language, right? Like IES in Freiburg, I think when you step foot in those buildings, it's expected you speak German the entire time. But you're there to learn German, and that's why you're there. When you're a graduate student in the United States studying whatever field you're studying, obviously it's important to develop good English skills, especially if you plan on staying in the United States for work. But at the same time, it's also a lot to take graduate level courses in a foreign language. I mean, I did it in German, so I understand how difficult it can be. And sometimes when you're done with class, your brain feels like pudding, and you don't want to speak the language anymore.
Right.
If you had a 3-hour
it's work.
Right. You have a 3-hour lecture in English with these highly complex, terms and vocabulary, and all these things. The last thing you want to do when you step foot out of class and you're relaxing with your classmates and your peers to continue in English, you know?
Especially when you're with friends that that are native speakers of your language too, because there's a comfort in that in itself.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, this is all the fact that we're even saying, and not that we're saying this is ridiculous, but the fact that we even have to argue it to this level is ridiculous, though, because it's like, it's just people sitting in a common area talking. Who cares?
Exactly.
And not only who cares, because maybe it does bother you. Maybe she's got a problem. Okay. But cares to the point that you have to
send out an email like that.
Yeah. And the fact that other people, like that there are multiple people in this office that are like having conversations about this, that's like, hey, did you hear those Chinese students speaking
it's really
Chinese?
sad.
And it's like, oh, Bob, I think they were Korean actually. It's like, yeah, I know. That's what I said, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, I know. I think you did. It just seems so ridiculous that they'd even take it to these lengths. Where it's like, like, even if it does bother you to where you're having these conversations, yeah, that's ridiculous in itself. But why do you care this much about their future job prospects? Like, it's so funny that you have this sort of weird,
Right.
quote unquote concern with their future job prospects all of a sudden. It's like, really?
Right.
Is this really what this is all about?
Yeah,
that you're that concerned about
it's like
their
weird,
future?
Right. It's a weird way to try to justify your xenophobic viewpoints.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah,
I'm an educator. I'm trying to help you get jobs.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
I know
crazy.
that nobody wants to hear this non-English speaking because they're it's just
Right.
Stay in your lane.
Right. She could
And
have written such a shorter email. She would have just said, "Stay in your lane."
This kind of goes back to when we were talking about should you reply to that kid on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you have to know when. Like this kind of goes to the same principle, where it's like you're not. You have to know when I know you're a professor or a teacher all the time, and so when you're around students, even if you're not in the classroom, you're kind of always on in that teachery sense.
Right.
But you do have to be able to separate,
Of course.
work and free time, and it's like these students were in their free time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you were still in this this setting, it's like it's
I have to
This is
tell you
really-
though, man, it's hard to turn off the teacher mode.
oh yeah,
You know,
no,
it's
I get
difficult.
I get it.
And I
But that's
noticed
not
too
teacher
when I
mode.
I noticed too when I meet new people, sometimes I realize like I had a talk with David about this. We both ask a lot of questions when we meet new people, right? I think some of it's because we're genuinely interested and want to get to know these people. On the other hand, as an English language teacher and as a German teacher, it was my job to ask a lot of questions. You know,
Right.
sometimes it feels like you have to kind of pull the language out of your students to get them to talk. You know, if you ask them something, they give you a one-word answer, then, you know, why? Or give me more details or whatever, you know. But this is really funny, though, this whole idea of speaking the native language. And I've experienced the opposite here in the Czech Republic. Some of my classes that I've been teaching, when the students will talk to each other in Czech, whether they're trying to explain something to each other or whatever, and I've learned the phrase, how do you say? In Czech, it's here's an early untranslatable for you. Jak se řekne means how do you say? And so
It's not untranslatable.
Well,
That's just translating
true. That's
an
true.
actual phrase.
Okay, an early Czech phrase of the pod. How about that? Early Czech
we
phrase of the
go.
pod. Jak se řekne, how do you say? And so when I hear that, I know, okay, the students are trying to, you know, it's related to my lesson. It's not they're just talking because I've given them too much time for an activity. But I had a teacher at my school ask me, she said, well, don't you find it kind of rude or impolite when we speak Czech in class, whether they have some administrative things they need to discuss at the beginning of class or whatever it may be? And I was just kind of like, no, why would I find it rude or impolite? I'm in your country. You should be able to speak Czech whenever you need to. Obviously, when I'm teaching an English lesson, the fact of the matter is we should be using English at least 90% of the time if we can. But some days that's not how it goes. Some days, you know, I may have picked a topic that was a little too difficult and the students don't have all the vocabulary they need. And some of that's my fault as the teacher for not preparing them and giving them more vocabulary. But yeah.
Even the consideration of asking that question that was asked to you is so foreign to an American person. To like for a Czech person to be like, do you feel uncomfortable having us speak Czech around you? That I've been around. I've been in I mean, most environments I've been in, there have been at least say a couple people. And whether it's been a job where you have people that aren't American, or actually I worked with a lot of international people at my job now. But there's always I've since I've lived in Germany and I've come back, I noticed the lack of consideration taken for those people that even if it does not that it even always has to be taken. But it's just how just the lack of awareness, because
definitely,
I'm not trying to condescend to these people. They understand English well enough that they don't need to be patronized to with how they're spoken to, but it's just sort of this. It's not even really a negative thing. It's just sort of this lack of awareness in their speech of the words they're using sometimes.
Right,
and I just notice it more.
It's interesting too. There's a lot of times since I've moved here, especially now that I'm starting to understand more and more Czech and feel more comfortable with the language. Although I still can't speak very much, I've noticed there's a lot I can really understand. And I always feel a little guilty, when I'm with people, Czech people, and because of me, they're forced to speak English. Sometimes I feel really guilty. Well, okay, let me rephrase. They're kind enough to be accommodating and nice to me and speak English. But I always feel bad because, one, I would learn a lot more Czech if they were speaking Czech around me more often. Two, I think it would just be more diplomatic if it wasn't 100% English or even 90-10 English Czech. If it was, even 50-50, there'd be a lot I wouldn't understand. But somebody can always usually translate for you as well. I've been places with Czech people, and they're speaking Czech, and somebody will help me out and translate things. And I attempt to say a couple things in Czech, usually causes a couple laughs, but it also lightens up the conversation.
Yeah. I think it's harder in bigger groups to do that, though, to pull off the.
That's true
for everyone to, because especially when their English is they can speak English, but it's not the strongest. So I don't know. That just seems it seems tough. I don't know. It's just more considerate. It's just a lot more consideration than we're used to.
Right.
Speaking of language, though, I have mentioned that I'm just trying to get my German back going again. I got a yoga app. I'm going to do real yoga. I'm actually going to, my friend Brad, I mentioned, is going to be here next weekend. Well, I guess as you're listening to this, he's going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
And actually, wouldn't even be this weekend. Anyway, but yeah, he's going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to do real yoga. I bought a yoga mat on Amazon and everything.
Nice.
Shout out to the richest adulterer in the world.
Making him richer.
He needs it.
I think his wife or ex-wife, she'll get, I don't know if she'll get half, but she'll get a lot.
Yeah, she does. No, I think she's...
Did they not sign a prenup?
No, I don't think they did. I think she's getting like 60-something billion, essentially.
Ooh, wow.
I know, jeez.
Dang.
I mean, but it's so funny that people are not saying she, she's now going to be the richest woman in the world. And I was like, I mean, to be fair, she essentially was when she was married, too.
Also true. That's true.
It's like she had access to, she was just as free to, she was free to do anything she wanted to do.
Clearly, he got a little too free, clearly.
But I mean, that level of money is like,
it's unreal.
It's unreal. Once you get past like even $1 billion, like it all just seems so like you can't even comprehend that.
Right. It's too many zeros. Way too many zeros,
my God.
for sure.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I got a meditation app, and I just started playing it on my phone, and I realized because my phone is in German, like
yes.
All the meditation and there's kettlebell one too, because I have kettlebells here.
Nice.
All of them are in German. It's great. And so now, like, there's this woman speaking in this calm voice, saying like lion, liegen auf sein Rücken. I don't want to fuck it up, but
Drehen Sie sich sehr langsam Atmen
and it's very
That's hilarious.
and whenever the next person that actually I'm going to play a little bit of it right now. I have it on my phone.
Oh, perfect.
The next person that comes to me and says, "Oh, German's so harsh," I'm going to say, "Hey, download this app and I need to turn on my Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi. Download this app." And
I'm really curious to hear it. Also, speaking of calming German voices, I used to have my phone in German as well, and whenever I'd use the GPS, it was also usually pretty calming, you know? Be like, in 500 Meter biegen Sie links ab.
I never I never have the sound on my
Your navigation, your GPS.
yeah, no. I always just look at it. Oh, all right, here we go. There's so many like levels to get to this. Oh, here we go. This is hilarious. Takes a while to load.
I'm excited to hear this. Are you going to keep it in German with Brad? That would be hilarious.
No, we're actually going somewhere. We're not
nice.
going to do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Also, I have a yoga mat here in Chomutov as well. I've been dabbling a little bit with yoga.
Sitz mit gekreuzten Beinen. Atme aus und neige deinen Kopf nach vorn, dein Kinn geht zur Brust. Einatmen, heb dein Kinn in Richtung Himmel. Ausatmen, entspann deinen Kopf nach vorne, dein Kinn in Richtung Brust. Dehne die Rückseite
I love
deines
this
Nackens.
music in the background.
Einatmen, heb dein Kinn in Richtung Himmel und dehne die Vorderseite deiner Kehle.
Oh, zeig mal.
Atme aus, dein Kopf rollen.
For those of you on YouTube, you can also see my phone up to the screen. You can see a lovely lady sitting on
There you
a
go.
Halte
mat
deine
doing
Schultern
some
ganz
Pilates.
Oh, cool. And it's got like a timer. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Jetzt platziere deine rechte Handfläche.
Also, I like that it's they're using the do form and not the Z. Makes it a little more informal, a little friendlier, you know.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I do sometimes before I go to bed. And
That's
it was a nice
legit.
surprise that I was in German because there's a little practice for you right there.
Speaking
Or
of
for me,
which,
I guess.
have you gone to the German Society yet or found a language buddy?
No, but I did sign up for a website, but I
Sweet.
need to look for one. But there aren't. Before I signed up for the website, I did look through it, and there were not any. I couldn't find, at least on that specific website, any German speakers looking to speak English within the Philly area. The
Okay.
closest I could find were like in the suburbs. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Right. I mean the
I want someone that I
other
could go
thing
to
you
without
could
driving
also
there.
do depending on what your comfort level is. I'm sure there might be some older German people who would love to just speak some German, because it's
Yeah.
like that with my mentor, where her mother, their relatives or their parents were German, and she grew up speaking German and Czech, obviously. And my Czech, I'll randomly toss in some Czech words, and it's really cute. My mentor's mom, I would guess, is probably in her 80s, I think, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And she's
Slipping on gator
she's lived
That's
quite
mean, I'm sorry.
she's lived a really interesting life. You know, she's seen a lot happen historically in the Czech Republic.
Right.
And so, but we always speak German, and she's usually very happy to speak German with me because she doesn't have anyone else to practice it. So that might be a route for you. Maybe there's somebody in Philly or around Philly that,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't know if that's something you
How do
want
I
to do.
specifically target old people on the internet? Sort of
Might be
reverse-
difficult.
I was gonna say reverse to catch a predator. Did you hear about Chris Hansen?
I
He's
did.
in quite a bit of
he got
trouble.
arrested, right?
Yeah, it
Take a
seems like
seat.
he's essentially broke.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I'm doing that meditation app. But hey, do you want to spread a little love?
Of course I do. Can I start today?
Go for it.
Because
please.
I have two very special shout outs. Well, really, I could make this more than two, but I'm going to keep it at two for now. I have two shout outs for two of my students. One for one of my students named Harry. He sent me a message a while back, and I meant to give him a shout out. He says, keep up the good work with our podcast. And he really enjoys listening, and will continue to listen in the future.
Shout out to Harry.
So big shout
Spread
out
a
to
little
Harry.
love.
And the second student I'd like to give a shout out to is And he will be a new student of mine. I believe I think he's in the second grade.
Recruiting him early. I like the way you work.
That's right.
Is that like instead of like the required summer reading, it's like the required listening?
Exactly. To all of my students, listen to the Untranslatable podcast. But yeah, that's right. So shout out to Yuri, and I want to read this message to you, Jared, because this was just an awesome message. He wrote me.
Best teacher ever.
That's not what he said, but he said, "Hey man, just doing all my homework for tomorrow, also preparing for school in general, and I have to say, listening to your podcast while doing so is the most relaxing way to do all this. Well done. I can't wait for another episode." So big shout out to Yuri. Thank you so much for the comment. It was great to hear from you, and we're hoping to bring you some more exciting episodes in the future. So thanks a lot.
That puts a smile on my face.
Right? And I figured that was a good one because it wasn't so cheesy where you would be like, this crap again, really? So there you go.
No, I mean, I'll take I'm always happy to hear people are listening.
Oh, definitely. Especially when we can spread that love into their lives,
In that case, we should probably shout out Austin as well, our friend from college. He shouted us out on Instagram and
that's
spread
true.
love on his Instagram.
So cheers
shout
to you,
out to you
Austin.
too.
Thanks a lot, buddy. We appreciate it. So what shout-outs do you have today? Do you have any?
Yeah, I have a story of someone that we should all strive to be like, but none of us ever will.
Okay, let's hear it.
A Chicago woman got 30 hotel rooms for homeless people during severe cold, the severe cold snap in the Midwest, in Chicago specifically. So you remember a couple weeks or over the past week or so, or maybe a week ago, it was like extremely cold, negative 30s, negative for a couple days. And did you hear in Michigan, before I get into the story, in Michigan, I keep hitting this thing. In Michigan, before the gas company was advising everyone to keep their heat below 65 because they were nervous that they were going to overload the system because there were already some signs that the system was at its wit's end. And they're like, please, don't go any higher than 65 because obviously the demand is very high right now. And we're trying to, and not only is the demand high, but the cold puts an extreme, abuses our equipment and makes it harder to run all of our equipment at the same time, which is kind of a double-edged sword. When you need the stuff more, also it's such extreme weather that it's also going to affect the equipment that gives you what you need.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
And so they were just telling everyone to keep yours. And so I assume it was fine. I didn't hear of any terrible gas conundrums. Anyway, in Chicago, as temperatures plunge to life-threatening lows this week, this is in the New York Times today. More than 100 homeless people in Chicago unexpectedly found themselves with food, fresh clothes, and a place to stay after a local real estate broker intervened. The broker, Candace Payne, 34, said it was a spur-of-the-moment decision to help. By the way, which is crazy in itself that she's just sitting around and I assume she has a warm place to stay. And she's just in her warm place thinking, man, there's all those people out there, which I mean, everyone's, not everyone, but a lot of people have had those conversations before, like, why don't homeless people just all go to Hawaii or California?
Right, right.
And so she's probably in her home thinking, I wonder how these homeless people are going to survive in this extreme weather. And so Candace, she had a spur moment decision because it was 50 below, especially in Chicago with the wind. It's probably even way worse than, say, some other Midwest areas. And she said, I knew they were going to be sleeping on ice, and I had to do something, she said on Saturday. Miss Payne contacted hotels and found 30 rooms available at the Amber Inn for Wednesday night at $70 per room. The temperatures in Chicago reached lows of minus 25 and minus 26 on Wednesday and Thursday, according to the National Weather Service. After Miss Payne paid for the rooms on credit card,
Man, that's got to be a big bill.
She asked her, I mean, you can do the math. 30 times 70, that's $2,100 right there for the rooms alone.
Man.
Is that math right? I did that right?
I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, now I'm gonna double check it. How do you not know this? How do I not know this? 30 times 70 is 2,100. Yeah, I got it right. So 2,100 just for the rooms alone. She's not done, by the way. After Miss Payne paid for the rooms on her credit card, she asked her Instagram account for anyone who could help her transport the homeless people. Soon she had a caravan of cars, SUVs, and vans with volunteer drivers. So this is just a cavalcade of shout-outs going around right here. We met at Tent City, where all the homeless people set up tents and live in this on the side of the expressway. Man, how did they even survive that?
I don't know.
Like, how did... I mean, I don't even know how that would be possible.
Right. Yeah, me either.
I mean, I'm sure some passed away, not to make it sad, but I'm sure not everyone did survive. But for the ones that did survive, I mean, I'm sure a good number of them did survive, and shout out to them just for braving that outside.
Right.
So they went to Tent City, which is kind of a popular area for homeless people to congregate. She said it's no secret that the homeless people have been living there for years. She asked as many people as she could get, to go with her to Amber Inn, as donations were pouring in to her Cash App. Sorry, I gotta scroll. Miss Payne met two pregnant women and a family of 5 in the first group of homeless people who went to the inn. We had to accommodate everyone. It was really overwhelming, Miss Payne said. They were so appreciative they couldn't wait to get in a bath and lay in bed. Miss Payne bought toiletries, food, prenatal vitamins, lotions, deodorants, and snacks, and made care packages to help make the people feel comfortable. So that right there is probably at least hundreds of more, if not a couple thousand, if not, at least 1,000 right there.
Right.
Restaurants donated trays of food and made people call the inn. She said she spent about $4,700 so far on the rooms and other materials, which I mentioned before. People from the community, they all piggyback off Candace, said Robin Smith, the manager of the Amber Inn, the hotel. Other people started calling and anonymously paying for rooms. She added, and Miss Smith lowered the price to accommodate more people. Wow, that's amazing. Once again, cavalcade of shout-outs.
Right.
What started out as 30 rooms doubled to 60 rooms. Miss Smith said the rooms were only supposed to be occupied until Thursday, when temperatures in Chicago were expected to raise back up to about moderate. But with because I assume the manager and the owners, Robin Smith, they're taking a hit. I assume that's a lower rate than they would pay on average.
Right.
But the donations Miss Payne has received more than exceeded $10,000 so far. She has been able to house the people in the hotel and feed them until Sunday.
That's great.
Which is actually, now I think about it, and I am a regular person, Miss Payne said. It's of course, now we got to find out that she's humble, of course. Well, you got to be humble to do this.
Yeah, of course.
It all sounded like a rich person did this. I'm just a little black girl from the South Side. I thought it was unattainable, but after seeing this and seeing people from all around the world, that just tells me that's not unattainable. We can all do this together. Miss Payne wants to organize other ways to help homeless people in Chicago. And that's the other great thing about this, is one, this was just a spur of the moment thing, but now she's like, wow, I could actually do something. I didn't even realize
it's led to something
she's like,
bigger.
I wasn't even fully aware that I was anyone that could do something. It's like, yeah, everyone could do something.
Right.
You just have to you just have to have some faith in yourself. And she did. I mean, clearly she had faith in herself to even put up at least, I mean, she said $4,700. I'm going to bet it was probably even more than that. That you just put up that much money, it'd say at least $5,000 just on faith like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just
impressive.
because he went to help as many people as he could. That's I I mean, I could be doing this for the next 3 hours with all the people.
Right.
Shout out to I'm the main shout out to her because she organized everything and was the
She
one
got
that jumped
the wheels
everything off.
turning. Exactly.
But there were restaurants and people that donated their cars and food, and obviously the manager of this Amber Inn, Robin Smith, was a huge player in this whole thing. So
Absolutely.
shout out to just all these people. That's huge.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It was cold here. I mean, it was here in Philadelphia. Nowhere close to what it was like in the Midwest. It was, a couple days, a day or two in the single digits in the teens. But it just made me wonder. I was like, I don't know how I ever survived in Michigan. I don't know how I did that for years. It makes no sense to me because I step outside for 10 seconds in Philadelphia when it's in the teens and I want to slap somebody.
Right. Yeah.
It's so cold. But shout out to her and everyone. That's so cool.
Nice. I have one more shout out before we move on. And this is kind of a strange shout out because I could not find the name of this person. So this is kind of an anonymous shout out, but it's still a good one. So a bus driver in Florida is being hailed a hero after saving 16 children from a burning school bus. So,
whoa!
Yeah.
Where do you find these stories?
Man, the interwebs, my dude.
Where do you find these stories?
The interwebs. But yeah, so
you find stories of full-on superheroes.
Yep.
That other dude with a broken arm.
You never know. I mean, sadly, there's really no information about this heroic bus driver. All we know is, I believe, she's a woman, and she's a Broward County school bus driver. And she was on her usual route bringing students home in Davie, Florida on Thursday when the engine caught fire and she jumped into action. And dude, I'm looking at these pictures and it's really amazing that she was able to get all 16 children out of the school bus. I could easily see causing panic or everything. But right here, the quote.
Oh yeah.
The quote says
kids are probably not don't react well to stay calm.
Right.
When
and these
they're
are
in a burning
I think
bus.
these are elementary school kids as well, so they're little kids. So right here it says, the 16 children we found in excellent condition since evacuating from a school bus that was on fire.
They're actually in better health than before.
Right. Each child was calm, cool, and collected. The driver was in control when spoken to some 10 minutes after the fire began, a spokesperson for the Tamarack Fire Department. The driver did a great job not only getting them off safely, but keeping them safe following the evacuation. And right here, an onlooker named Fitzroy Johnson, said that the bus driver, I think, was a hero. And I got to agree with you, Fitzroy, an absolute hero. I'm happy that all those children were able to get out of there safely. And I hope this bus driver gets a nice raise as well.
For sure. I was driving home from work last week, and I saw an accident. Remember I mentioned I saw an accident happen?
A while ago.
A couple blocks. Yeah. It was like maybe 2 months ago at this point, 2 or 3 months ago. Couple blocks down, same road, but a couple blocks down. Saw another. I didn't witness this accident happen. I saw the aftermath. So I don't really know what happened, but I saw. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I saw it seemed like a crossover SUV kind of car T-boned a school bus.
Oh, geez. Was everyone okay?
I didn't. It looked like everyone was already off the bus, but by the damage of it, it seemed like everyone would have been fine on the bus.
Okay.
But it was enough of damage to mess up that car that hit the car that hit the bus and do some damage to the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen some, especially living in the city now, I've seen some people do some stupid stuff around school buses. And it's like, that's got to be like if we have any sort of decency left in this world, like even, I'd say even above, even a step, and this might be a ridiculous thing to say, but even a step above getting out of the way of like ambulances or fire trucks is stopping when the red lights go on for a goddamn school bus.
Right.
Like, that's going to be like, come on. I mean, that has nothing to do with the bus lighting on fire, but just when I see like people, like go around school buses. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, so Chad and I, Chad's in the Czech Republic. I'm changing it up real quick. And we have these time differences, and we still want to do these Beer of the Pod reviews, but sometimes we got to review beers a little earlier. And I have to review beers too. I want to do it. So I sometimes I try to find something that can accommodate both. So right now it's about 2:30 here in Philadelphia. I had a nice breakfast. I had some hash browns, eggs, and some bacon. It was delicious. I had some coffee as well. Sometimes what I do if I'm feeling saucy is I'll put some cinnamon in the French press with the coffee. Not Bailey's. No. Come on. This is just black coffee, but I put some cinnamon in with the grounds, and it adds a nice little flavor to it. And so it's 2:30 as I talk away from the mic. And I saw this beer, and I thought, this is a nice midday beer on a Sunday. I'm going to break the eighth wall, whatever they call it, real quick. Fourth wall, and say it's Super Bowl Sunday. Mm-hmm. Who do you think's going to win? Just throw out a name. This episode's already come out after.
Who I want to win and who I think's going to win are two different stories. I don't want the Pats to win. I want the Rams to win, but it might be the Pats. I don't know. I don't really follow NFL, so it's hard to say. But anyways, let's see this.
So this is, I stumbled upon I need to block.
Yep, there's a lot of light there. Coffee break? Is that what it says? Coffee break. Ooh, all right, nice. Coffee break, okay. BS?
Yeah. BS stands for bullshit. It also stands for Bolero Snort Brewery in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
And so
that can looks cool. I like that.
It is a cool looking can. I've in my Harry Potter studios, I've left this one can up for a while because I like the way it looks in the Chamonix Creek can.
Yep.
But I think I might have to replace it with this coffee break. So as Chad mentioned, if you want to see the can, go to either our Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, or just watch us on YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast. I am sorry, our last episode with David is not on YouTube, but the Chad was on the road again, and his Airbnb in Prague was awful.
Well, wait. The Airbnb was great. It was the Wi-Fi that was awful.
Excuse me. Yeah, that was not a full sentence that I just said.
Right.
Well, it was awful for me because your Wi-Fi sucked, and acoustically it sounded like you guys were in a cave.
That's true.
But
at least we got the untranslatable NPR voice recorded, though.
That's true. So this coffee break, I thought this would be interesting because it's something very different than what I would.
What is it exactly? Parada. Ooh, all
right. Good job, Chad.
All right.
It's a porter with milk, sugar, and single origin coffee. And so it is brewed and canned. That's where it's brewed. I can read something about it though. I got so much stuff going on my desk. We layered a bunch of dark malts with hefty amounts of oats and a dash of milk sugar to get things going with a super drinkable 6 point. So I guess it's not a stout, but it's similar to a stout. It's a porter.
Right.
6.1% porter, then conditioned it on single origin coffee from Guatemala, known from its fudgy qualities. Big chocolate and coffee roast up front with background toffee and citrus. I'm real excited for this. I was excited to hear that we have listeners that enjoy listening to us. I have the exact same smile on my face after I just read that.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, I'm not a snob or anything. I'm not a connoisseur by any means, but I am a big enjoyer of coffee. And I'm not a big fan of mixing stuff like this, but this seemed very interesting to me. And they got me with this freaking can, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Look on our YouTube, on our Instagram, because I'll have some great pictures of this can. Oh, get the fuck out of here! Look at that.
Oh wow, that literally looks like carbonated coffee.
Oh yes.
We should have started the episode earlier so you could have this after your breakfast.
You know what would have been great? I've cleared up some desk space. I could have like had the bacon, eggs, and just had the whole meal.
Yes. Oh my God, that'd be great.
And just do it at like at 8 in the morning. Morning, everyone.
Time for my coffee. What's it called again?
Okay, let me smell
Coffee break?
Yeah, COWFEE break. Let me smell this. Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Does it smell like coffee?
Oh my God. It smells like chocolatey coffee.
Oh, nice. So like a mocha something. Mocha latte, is that what they'd call that?
Yes, I guess so. Wow. And you can see the color. Explain this.
I mean, it looks like coffee, dude. Like
it's very thick. Like it looks like but it's dark. So like it looks like there's like milky qualities to it, but it's dark. So it doesn't look like this.
And there's not much. There's not much head on it either.
No,
which makes it look more coffee-esque as well, I think.
Ooh.
How is it?
This is good. This is, I'm going to say it's not what I expected, but in a good way.
Okay.
So it looks thicker than it is. It has a very strong coffee taste. It almost tastes like coffee mixed with porter beer.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I guess that's what it is.
So is it a coffee radler? Is that what it is?
It is. This is so good. I'm gonna buy more of these and drink these on Sunday mornings with a hearty breakfast.
You might have to bring some of those to Michigan this summer.
This is the perfect dude. Morning podcast. Yep. We'll drink these.
Yep.
By the way, Chad and I are going to be together for a weekend, and we're going to stockpile like 86 podcasts.
Right, exactly.
That's all we're going to do all weekend. Our friends are going to be like,
what were you up to? Well, we sat in one room for about 12 hours straight and just recorded, banged out a bunch of podcasts.
I did just buy a 2 terabyte hard drive,
Ooh,
so we can
perfect.
just keep that thing rolling.
We're gonna take a year off from podcasting because we're gonna stockpile all of it within a week.
That would actually make me sad. As
me
much
too.
as I enjoy, most of the fun of this is actually doing it. So that would kind of make me sad if we did it that way. I like doing it regularly, but I would like to. We do have so many podcast ideas, and it's like how long am I gonna be there?
Right. Exactly.
Clearly a long time. Anyway, this coffee break is great, and it's a great winter beer.
Okay, nice.
It's great for the weather that we have right now. It's a little warmer actually today. It's it's in the 30s, so it's getting back to normal, sort of a Philly winter. But this is a great winter beer. I'm gonna take another sip. Ooh.
It looks like a cold coffee. Really, I'm really amazed just by the color of it.
Yeah, it looks very coffee-ish, and it is. This is one of the most unique one of the most unique beers I've gotten, and probably one of my favorites so far.
I have to say,
that's a bold statement.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed you don't have like a clear coffee mug that you're drinking it out of.
Did I tell you that? Do you remember that red mug that Riley made?
Yeah.
Did I tell you I broke? I broke it.
No.
I've used it consistently ever since he gave it to me in college. I've used it consistently until about 4 months ago, and then I knocked it over on my counter and broke it. For like 6 years, I used that thing consistently and traveled and moved with it.
Right.
And just like an idiot, I was moving around on my counter and just knocked it over. And it's like all that moving and stuff that I've done with this thing, and this is how I break it.
Right.
It was so sad.
That sucks, man.
Anyway, Riley, if you want to, by the way, this is how I'm going to get Riley to make me a new one. If you want to make me a new one, please. And then I'm going to like somehow subtly. Like, what I'm going to do is, like, from our Instagram account, just start liking shit on his Instagram so he finds it.
Good idea.
And then make this a clip.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love it. Yes, please do that.
That is the most, like, passive-aggressive. But this is amazing. Coffee break. Highly recommended.
Parada.
Like, I could wax poetic about this, and I probably will because I'm going to keep drinking it throughout this pod.
And would you say this is an excuse to have a beer with your breakfast? That's
a dangerous thing about this beer.
Okay.
Because as a coffee drinker, I could easily, if it's for example, And this is how I'm going to sort of try to justify it, even though this doesn't really need to be the case. Say it's a long weekend and you have the Monday off and the Sunday is, and that's when Sundays are ideal. That's Sundays would be my favorite day of the week if it was like that, where you didn't have to go to work on Monday. And so if you really could just enjoy your Sunday like that, this is the perfect beer to have with a nice hearty breakfast. It's the perfect, because even coffee, I guess unless it's a cold coffee, but even like hot coffee is kind of a tough thing to just drink with food. It's too much hot.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
With hot food, sometimes you need the balance of a cold drink. And this is a perfect mix of cold brewed coffee. You get a clear coffee taste, but a good coffee, like a nutty kind of chocolatey coffee, which I usually don't drink.
Chocolate
With a good bit of booze. This is a 6.1% beer.
Oh,
don't
dang.
forget.
So I'd say try to limit to one coffee break.
I considered bringing 2 coffee breaks down here, but I was like, I'm not going to drink 2. And now I still kind of wish I brought 2, but I still probably wouldn't drink 2.
Right.
But I really like this, and I'm probably going to drink another one after.
I feel like that's that's your dad or your granddad's beer right there. Strong, coffee flavored. And yeah, that's awesome.
My dad is a coffee drinker, big fan of coffee, but not a big beer fan. Like he'll drink a beer like if it's around and it's like, hey, want a beer?
Right.
But like if he's home and he's drinking alcohol, it's probably going to be wine.
Right.
Or occasionally he'll drink like a scotch or something. Occasionally, but mostly it's going to be wine for him.
You ought to bring him one of those coffee breaks.
Dude, every beer the pod review I have, you say bring it.
That's true.
We were joking before about my car just being filled with only beer. Now this is starting to become a reality.
It's going to happen. You might have to rent an SUV when you come visit so you can fill that puppy up.
I come with a Dodge Ram. By the way, the new Dodge Ram heavy duty truck just got released. It has 1,000 pounds of torque. It can tow like 35,000 pounds. It's ridiculous.
So you can bring all the beers that we've done in the pod, no problem.
Yeah. It's essentially a semi truck. By the way, before I continue waxing poetic about this coffee break, my clock is vibrating and about to ring.
All right, Jared,
Let me enjoy this coffee break and let's talk about some untranslatables.
Let's do it. I want to start off. I have a couple animal untranslatables, but first I want to start us off with the Czech one. So here we go.
Výborný. Fuck.
Talk that calf out of that heifer. That's right. All right, here we go. Kdo se moc ptá, moc se dozví, which means he who asks too much learns too much.
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
Hit that ham horn, my dude. You're absolutely right. Yeah, if you don't want to get too involved, you shouldn't ask too many questions or dig too deep because you might end up finding out information you don't want to know in the first place. So very good.
I'm a huge proponent of that. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Right. Yeah.
My first one is Hungarian. And it's apad nem volt üveges. Oh.
Ooh.
I don't know if I said that last word right, but I feel like
Sounded
I did. And that translates literally to your dad wasn't a glassmaker.
Your dad wasn't your dad. So it's like your parents.
This kind of feels like a kid's
something you say to a kid. Okay. Well, but does this mean
this is our kids corner?
Does this like your parents aren't rich, or is it the opposite? Your parents aren't poor.
Think a little more literally. Your dad's
not artistic.
If you were glassmaker. Hey, your dad's not a glassmaker. Down in front. Your dad's not a glassmaker.
So it's like
he makes humans.
I'm even more confused.
It's saying your dad's not a glassmaker. Or is it essentially saying I can't see through you?
Oh,
you're blocking my view.
I see. You know what we say in English, right?
I couldn't think of it, but I know there is one, and I'm glad you know it.
You make a better door than a window.
Thank you. I knew there was one, and I could not think of what it was.
My parents would always say that, because the way their house is set up, we have a small TV in our kitchen. And when I was younger and I was watching, any sports, where we would sit at the table, especially when I was watching tennis, you could barely see where the ball was going. So I'd stand in front of my TV. Well, not my TV, but the TV. And my parents, usually
Your
my
parents
dad.
are lucky that they even had that TV, thanks to you.
Right. And yeah, so they would always say that you make a better door than a window. But I like that. Your dad's not a glass maker.
I love that,
It's kind of sassy. I like that.
I'm actually glad that you didn't understand it, because it doesn't fully make sense when you just hear it out of context in English. But at the same time, it makes perfect sense.
Oh, 100%.
And I love it.
Absolutely.
It's so simple. Perfect to yell at a sports game or something.
That's awesome.
Oh, not for me if I was actually in Hungary.
Right.
That would not be pretty.
All right, so
you got another one?
Oh yeah, I got two of them, and I figured I would go with what I know second best to English, which would be German. So the first one, Jared, is sei kein Frosch.
Don't be a
Frosch. It's green.
Oh wait, it's an animal, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Frog.
There you go. Don't be a frog.
Don't be a frog. Is it like don't complain?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah,
I can imagine like croaking.
I'd give that to you.
Or like don't whine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like don't be a spoil sport. Don't be a negative Nancy or negative Nelly. Exactly.
Yeah, the noise of a frog, and maybe this is generally kind of considered not if you're watching like a David Attenborough nature video, but like I guess you could kind of see it considered as a annoying sound.
Right.
Even like Kermit the Frog, like his voice is even. He's a lovable character.
Right.
But I think even his voice would generally be considered sort of an annoying, whiny voice.
Hey guys, I'm Kermit.
Oh, that's pretty
Is that good? Really?
Give me some more.
My name's Kermit. I'm on the Muppets, and I really I love Miss Piggy. She's great.
Ugh, sei kein Frosch.
Ich bin wer ich bin.
I am who I am.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the drop, and I found it.
Oh, there we go.
Let me write that down.
Well, while you're writing it, can I give you another untranslatable?
Please.
So this one is die Kuh fliegen lassen. To let the cow fly. I know you know what that means, but some of our listeners may not.
Right.
Die Kuh fliegen lassen.
Now, this is probably not what it is, but my first thought is our English untranslatable of let my freak flag fly, which is just to let loose and not really care what anyone thinks, essentially.
I mean, basically hit that ham horn. Hit it.
Chad, I've been 3 for 3 on this episode.
Yeah? This is
and
great.
by the way, even though I know those German words, I've never heard those untranslatables before.
Right. I had a long list of animal ones, and I tried to find ones that I figured wouldn't be too easy for you, but clearly I pegged you. I didn't peg you right, so.
We've just been doing this for too long. Don really put that in perspective
That's
for
true.
me.
That is true. You're right.
I got 2 more for you. I mean,
Sweet. Yeah, let's hear 'em.
I think also we have nowhere to be, and because there was no video last time, I'm in no rush to go anywhere.
Let's do it.
I also have nowhere to be.
Let's do it.
I have a Mandarin one, and it's Pao Chuan Yin Yu. Excuse me, Yu.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of said that right. Pao Chuan Yin Yu.
Mm-hmm.
And it means to cast a brick to attract jade. So jade is a very delicate sort of flower. And someone is casting a brick.
Is this like opposites attract?
No. So there are, because it's a delicate flower, there are a lot of techniques, or there are techniques to gather jade that involve carefully picking it or carefully cutting it at certain places so you get the freshest jade. Some people will just cast a brick in hopes of getting their jade and just hoping that they can just smash it off. It's essentially saying just tossing out an idea.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
It's like just casting. One more I want to do too.
Absolutely.
This one is Hindi, and it's apne kachari alag pakana. And this is to cook one's own dish.
Is that like to taste your own medicine?
No. I'm cooking my own dish, baby.
I'm doing
I
my
don't
own
need
thing.
your-
I don't need your input, your ideas. All right.
That's what I tell my parents. And they're like, okay. So, you know, a lot of times we make these pathetic efforts to make segues to our main topic. This time, I have a segue pre-planned for this topic.
Ooh, let's hear it.
And I'm just gonna play it for you. Can I do that for you?
Absolutely.
The pig goes wank. The cow goes shazoo.
Oh, this is the Family Guy,
Most
isn't it?
certainly does not.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
The rooster goes kikeriki.
Where? Where does the rooster say that?
The monkey goes macaque.
No, it does not.
The elephant goes fwamp.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
That just is such a hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
I just find that so funny.
That is great. Oh, my God. So I want to I want to ask you, Jared, do you know what the Bow Wow theory is?
I do, but only because of this episode. It's ridiculous.
So what is it? Can you tell our listeners out there?
The Bow Wow theory is an idea that language formed initially from humans listening to animals. So language started from humans imitating animals, and that's sort of also, I think, why they think there are different dialects, because people have different beliefs of what animals sound like. And from what I've also read, is largely considered to be BS.
Yeah. Because the problem is why this theory is problematic. So basically, as you mentioned, the theory is that the first words in the first speech was very onomatopoeic, which just means that the words would echo the sounds they heard, right? So moo, meow, splash, things like that. But the truth is, if you look at it, there aren't that many words that are onomatopoeic in terms of, if you just think about our vocabulary, we have so many words that, you know, if you heard the sound of the word, you wouldn't be able to associate it with anything outside of context of knowing the language, right?
Right.
So that's why that
Yes.
theory is definitely disregarded by a lot of linguists and scientists.
When I lived in Germany, I took a class. This was like 9th or 10th grade in high school, and it was essentially a class about. I mean, we essentially talked about like what do you call it? When like the growth of like the evolution of that's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
It was essentially about evolution and like the where humans come from, and we talked about Neanderthals and Homo sapiens and Lucy and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we had to give a speech at one of our final assignments. Was we had to choose an aspect of this prehistoric cultures and say how it improve or disprove its effect on our present day. And so I chose language, and I chose. By the way, I did not realize that I was setting the groundstones for the Untranslatable podcast as a 13, 14-year-old
Right.
In Germany in my humanities class learning about evolution.
Right.
So I chose language, and whether or not Neanderthals and certain levels of species, prehistoric species, whether they had what they could call were valid languages. And what I learned, this is once again, I was in high school. This is years ago. Was that essentially they're even though that they're like animals make noises that they can use to communicate to certain levels.
Right.
But there is a clear difference, or there is a difference between communication and then an actual language. And so, and there's where noises actually become words.
Right.
Is essentially what they were getting
Exactly.
at. And so it is a very oversimplification to just say hearing the noise then turns into words over time.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Macaque.
Well, Jared, let's make some animal noises, and I want you to guess where these animals are from. So we're going to start with dogs because,
Okay.
well, first of all, I want to just give you and our listeners a fun fact. In English, we have the most sounds, different sounds we use to imitate dogs. Do you have any idea why that might be?
I mean, I don't know about other cultures. Well, I know some cultures, but I don't know about all cultures. But I know Americans are known for having a special love for dogs.
Well, it's
I don't-
it's,
does that
it's
mean
not
it's
well. It's
anything to
not
do with
only the love.
that?
It's
just culturally.
well, you're right about that, but it's not only the love. It's the fact that I believe not even America, but English-speaking countries in general do have the highest ownership of dogs. So we have
okay.
a ton of different sounds, right? Like you have woof, you have bow wow, you have all these different sounds for dogs, right?
Let's go through them. Let's
All
go
right,
through
so-
them. All the English ones right now.
All the
English ones
all
first.
the English
Let's see
ones.
how many we can do.
So obviously woof,
Back and forth. We'll do it
woof,
back and forth. Bark.
bow wow,
Rough.
yep. Oh man, so that's what 3?
No, 4. We're on 4.
Okay.
You didn't count one of mine.
Okay, we're at 4. So, sorry. Okay, so we're at 4. I already said bow wow. I'm trying to think of.
Woof, rough, bow wow, bark.
I mean, I've also heard people.
Arf?
Oh yeah, arf. Very good. I've also heard instead of woof, I've heard people also say boof. Boof.
Boof?
Uh-huh.
I've never
Maybe
heard that.
it's
Okay.
because my parents have basset hounds and that's the sound they make.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Okay,
it's more
so
of like a
your
boof,
your
boof.
mom's deep in that community.
Right.
She's
Right.
does she follow Facebook pages of Basset Hound Facebook pages?
Her and I both do. Yeah.
Do you guys send?
I send her
videos back and forth?
basset hound memes. I kid you not.
Oh my
And she'll
God.
send me basset hound
You're
memes.
the meme. You just send memes to
I
everyone.
do.
I love it.
I do. Any others? Arf? Arc? No. No. Yip? Maybe? No?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like a little
Like,
tiny dog?
as people would call them, ankle biters.
Right.
Usually they'd
Right.
say make yips.
Right. What else? Anything
Okay.
else?
So I mean, we're at that's pretty good though. We're at 8.
Yeah. I think there's more
That's
than
not
that.
bad. There's,
But yeah.
I'm sure there's more.
Right.
That's pretty good just at the top of our
Right.
head. By the way, as we play, since we're training, don't forget everyone. Even though we're training to become polyglots and training for Family Feud. 8's good. There's no Family Feud board that's gonna have more than 8.
That's a good point. We're set
so
to
at
go.
least
They need to have a podcast or Family Feud edition, and you better believe we'll win it.
oh man,
That would be hilarious.
I mean, once we're, even though it seems like we're, podcasts seem like, oh, everybody has a podcast. In the grand scheme of things, we're still early in this game.
That's true.
We have a chance to be. I mean, once. I mean, it's not going to be with Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey doesn't know what the fuck a podcast is.
That's probably true.
Once,
You're right.
Once the next host comes around, they could have a podcasters edition,
That would be great.
and we'd clean it up.
That would be great. All right, Jared.
Parada.
Time to practice and hone up on our Family Feud skills. I'm going to give you some dog sounds, and you got to tell me where in the world it's from. You ready?
Yeah, let's do
Hum. Hum.
it. German?
Nope.
Hum.
I'll give you 3 guesses. So it's not German,
China.
not China,
Japan.
not Japan. It is Romanian.
Okay.
Hum.
I mean, no offense to our Romanian listeners, but that was not on the top of my
Right. Okay.
Not on the top of my
Next
head.
one.
Hum. That's dog, right? Hum, hum, hum.
Yep. All right. Next one is bow. Bow. Bow.
Bow. Can you, to make it a little easier, could you at least give me a continent? Europe. German?
Nope.
Bow. Russian.
Nope. That's 2.
Norwegian.
Nope. It is Italian.
Interesting.
Italian. Uh-huh.
That isn't, for some reason, that I wouldn't, obviously I wouldn't think of that one because I just said 3 that weren't that.
Right. All right. How about this one? This one's an interesting one. Bluff.
Bluff. This is dog still?
Yep. These are all dogs, and this is also still in Europe. We haven't left Europe yet.
Sweden.
Nope. You're not that far away. You're in the vicinity.
Iceland.
No.
Denmark.
Nope. I'll give you one more guess.
Okay.
It's close.
Okay.
It's close. It's not far from Denmark.
Netherlands.
There you go. Uh-huh. Bluff is Dutch.
Parada.
Uh-huh. All right. So now I'll give you Now, all right, we've been in Europe long enough. Time for a new one. Ready? Gook. It's either gook or guck. I don't know which.
Easy. Slipping on gator piss.
It's in Asia.
Okay. Korean.
Nope. Not Korean.
Well, that's why are you putting up two? That was the first one I said.
That was the one. Yeah, one guess. You got two more.
Oh, I have two left.
You got two more.
We're looking at that differently. It's more glass half full, glass half empty
Right.
sort of situation right there.
That's right. Your daddy's not a glass maker.
Indonesia.
Ooh, hit that ham horn. Very good.
By the way, I'm not looking at anything here, people. I'm just a polyglot in training.
That's right. All right. Wong.
China.
Yeah, very good. Well, it's Cantonese, which I believe is the southern part of China, I think.
Oh, so Mandarin has a different...
I don't see... that's a great question. I don't see Mandarin on here, but it might. It might. Now, what's interesting, Jared, is cats, it's all pretty much the same.
I saw that. Why is that?
I don't know.
What is it about cats?
And you know what's funny is I read somewhere that cats meowing is actually, they meow because of people. I think people thought that they were like communicating with each other. Apparently cats use meows to try to catch our attention, communicate, maybe even manipulate us. Who knows? I think if cats could rule the world, they would, I think.
So the meowing is a purely human communication. Like if they were to just talk to cat, if there were no humans around, it was just cats, no meowing would be happening.
Right. Because if you look at the way cats interact with each other, usually it's not a lot of vocal stuff. Like
it's that more purring noise?
Maybe purring, their tails. But wait, there are a couple different ones. So here we go. Here's a different one. Nyan. Where do you think that's from?
I'm going to guess Asian.
Yep.
Japan.
Wow, you are on fire today, my dude. On fire. All right, how about this one? Yang.
Is that different? What was the Japanese
Nyan.
one again?
And this one's yang.
And the other one? Yang. I know the answer.
What is it?
And I'm not looking at anything. It's Korea.
Yeah, very good.
Sometimes I feel like I can hear it.
Right.
Like, because there are subtleties to how these languages sound. To me, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
To a Japanese speaker or Korean speaker, it's more. They'd say it's more than just subtleties. It's pretty goddamn clear.
Right. Right.
But to me, that doesn't understand either of those languages in the slightest. Like there are subtleties to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
to
definitely.
me that I think that I can pick up on. I feel like.
Right.
I like to think.
Yeah. So let's move on to pigs. What do we say in the United States, Jared?
Hey, don't call me that. How would you do it? How would you do it?
You love that, don't you?
What a non-professional would do is oink, 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 oink. Oh my god.
Well, if this teaching thing doesn't work out, maybe I can be a pig sound effect guy.
Yeah, maybe you could train under that police academy guy, not Carl Weathers. What's that guy's name? You know the guy, like the dude that makes all the sound effects.
Oh,
in the police academy?
yeah. I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, so
Anyway.
I'll try to make this easy for you, Jared. This first one is Grunz. Grunz.
German.
Yep, German. Okay.
Sounds very
Right.
German.
Hunk. I think it's Hunk. H-U-N-K. Hunk.
French?
Hunk. No. You had an untranslatable in this language.
Hungarian?
Oh, shoot. Was it last episode then? Did you
Bulgarian?
Did you have an Albanian one last episode?
Oh, maybe it was this episode. Let me check. No, that was last episode. must have
Okay,
been.
yeah. Hunk.
It's not this episode. It was Albanian.
Yep, Albanian. And then how about this one? Knorr.
Hunk.
Knorr.
Hunk, hunk. That kind of makes sense, though. Hunk,
Yeah,
hunk,
hunk
hunk,
makes sense.
Yeah.
How about Knorr?
Because that could easily, depending on how your language sounds, turn into a snorting noise.
Oh, for sure. But what about Knorr? Knorr? I think it's Knorr.
Knorr.
K-N-O-R.
Huh. Because that kind of has like a German sound to it. Is it Netherlands, maybe?
Ooh, very good. Yeah, that's Dutch. Very good.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
right.
All right, let's move on to ducks. So we say what in English?
Quack, quack, quack.
Yep. And then how about this one? Rap, rap, rap.
French.
Nope. It is in Europe, though.
Sorry, I
Rap, rap, rap.
I wish I. Sorry, I'm looking at another animal, and I really regret not wearing a shirt. That if we were not doing video anymore, I would literally change and put the shirt on. But anyway, rap, clap, clap. I don't know. I have no idea.
Danish.
I mean, okay. That doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. That actually kind of does make sense now that I think about it.
All right, how about this one? Mock, 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 mock.
French. That's French.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Mock. No, it's not German.
Nope, definitely not German.
Mock. Spanish.
Mm-mm.
All right, give it to me. What is it?
Romanian.
Oh, all right. You got a couple of Romanian ones. Right. I
Right.
need to keep that in mind.
That's true.
So, can I admit something to you? I'm
Absolutely.
looking at chickens or roosters.
Yeah,
I guess they'd say. And I have a shirt that has all of these written on them.
Oh, nice.
There's a show called Arrested Development. And I didn't, and they make all these chicken noises because they call Michael Bluth. They call him a chicken all the time.
Right.
And so they're like, "What are you, a chicken?" And they go like, "Kickity-key, kickity-key,
Right.
coca, coca, coca." I didn't realize those were actually how
Yep.
people like chicken noises in other languages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a ton of them. There's a ton of different ones.
So can I give you some of them? And are you looking
I'm
at
not
it?
looking
You're
at
looking
it.
at it.
I'm not looking at it.
All right, I'll
So
give
go
you some
for
of them. Can I actually play the Arrested Development clip first, just because I brought it up?
Sure.
No, I'm not going to do
No?
it. I just
All right.
like playing stuff. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. I don't give a shit that much. So my first one is Cuckle-Doodle-Doo. That's English.
Right.
The next one is Kikeraki.
I'm-
Kikeraki. And I know these perfectly because I've seen every episode of Arrested
I'm almost
Development multiple
positive that's
times.
German, isn't it?
That is not German.
Really? Okay. Is it in Europe?
It is. Yes.
Dutch?
No.
French?
No.
Kikariki. I don't think it's the
Si,
Czech
senora.
Republic. Is it the Czech Republic?
No. I said si, senor.
Oh, Spain. Okay.
It is. Yeah, it's Spanish.
I think they say that in German, though, too, don't they?
Okay, well, they said Spanish here. You could look it up. I don't know.
Okay. Because I've heard
But
Germans say that before.
Maybe it is German as well. It could be. They just happen to say Spanish here. Cocarico.
That's got to be... Oh, no, that's
Cocorico.
Italian for sure, right?
No,
No.
you had it right
French.
the first time.
Okay. French? Okay. Okay.
Kokio. Kokio.
What? Can you give me the continent?
Asia.
Asia.
Kokio.
Japan?
No, but that would be my guess
South
too.
Korea?
Yes. Well, they say Korean.
Okay.
But I assume
They probably have the same.
in North
Yeah, yeah.
Korea they don't have roosters. They've all. One more, and I'm gonna do it. I'll do it in the form of Joe Bluth from Arrested Development. Coca.
That's Italian, right?
No, that's an Asian country.
Japan?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Interesting.
It's Coca-Cola. It's Coca-Cola is what it is.
Right. Interesting. It's
that's
really
how you do
crazy
roosters
how
all
different all
around.
these sounds are.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And I don't.
What it does to me, because initially when as a youngster, as I'm saying for you and I, when we first start realizing that other languages have other ways of saying animal noises, you're like, what? Those are ridiculous. Where do they come up with those noises?
Right.
But as I get older, all it does to me is it doesn't make me think of all these other countries' noises as being ridiculous. All it just does is highlight how ridiculous all of our noises are.
Right. That's true.
Including English.
That's true.
It's like, oh, English is just as ridiculous, but all of these, like it's not that the Japanese ones or the Spanish or French or German or whatever are any more. It's like, oh, they're all. It just highlights that they're all ridiculous noises that we have assigned to animals.
Oh, right.
And
for sure.
essentially, are not. No matter what language you choose, they're not. Unless cat is a rare one, because I think meow is pretty close to what a cat actually sounds like.
Right.
But in general, they're all terrible representations.
Right.
Of what the animal actually sounds like, because you can't really spell that out.
Right.
Onomatopoeias in their very nature are very difficult to spell out because they're noises.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Well, so Jared,
do you have any more?
I don't, but I'd like to also talk about the symbolism of animals and culture as well. And I want to start off with Japan. So what do you think that how do you think the Japanese would perceive butterflies? Or like, what do they represent?
You would think it would be something good, but I'm going to guess it's evil.
So butterflies, according to the JapaneseShop.co.uk, butterflies represent the soul of the living and the dead as a result of the popular belief that spirits of the dead take the form of a butterfly when on their journey to the other world and eternal life. The butterfly is also often used as a symbol for young girls as they spread their wings and emerge into womanhood, as well as it being believed to symbolize joy and longevity. So that's butterflies.
Wow.
Then carp or koi carp.
Do you know the noise a butterfly makes?
No idea.
That's it.
What do you think carp represent in Japan? Like koi fish, koi carp.
Good luck.
No. Koi represent perseverance due to the fish's tendency to swim upstream and resist the flow of water. Koi also symbolize faithfulness and marriage in Japan. A design of carp swimming against the rapids symbolizes the Children's Day festival on May 5th to inspire children to work hard in order to succeed. And I'll do one.
I gotta say,
yeah, go ahead.
I gotta say this though. Give me a second. Koi fish are they're gross fish. Visually, to me, I find them to be gross to look at. I don't understand why these are considered classy fish. For some reason, they all look, and this is not, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if this is how they live their life, but they all look like they're tortured animals. They just look gross. They all look gross. I don't understand the obsession with them. I don't like when they have them as a display in a restaurant. It's like, you think that's going to give me an appetite to eat? That fish makes me want to puke. It's like, get that fish out of there so I can enjoy the actual food in here. It's like, then it all it makes me think is like, are you serving me this at your restaurant? That I like your food and I hate these fish. They're gross.
Okay.
I think they're gross. I don't like how they look visually. You know what it is? It's because they're all like either black or gray or pink with dots. Like they all look like they're sickly.
Aren't koi fish orange and white?
Yeah, they are, but they all like are dots and have gray and are like kind of sickly looking to me. And I think, and this is, now we're getting off into conjecture. And dude, I was about to like pull my microphone out of its stand for a second. I was like, relax, Jared. You're talking about fish. I've heard that a lot of koi fish are not legitimate koi fish in America, especially, or like outside of Japan. Like there's some other kind of fish, and they're not actually koi fish. You're getting sold a fake bill of goods. Those aren't real koi fish. You're not. These restaurants don't actually think any of their customers are persevering. They're fooling you into thinking that you're persevering.
Right. All right, the last...
Also, wasabi is usually not wasabi in a lot of American restaurants. It's usually horseradish.
You're just dropping the bombs right now. All right, last Japanese animal for you is turtles. What do you think turtles represent in Japan?
Turtles. Longevity.
Ooh, very life. Good, yeah. Turtles are a symbol for wisdom, luck, protection, and longevity. Longevity due to their long lifespan.
That's the same in English, though.
Right.
Or an American, like with the hare and the tortoise.
Right. Yeah.
That's sort of a symbolism of taking your time and
right.
It's not. Sorry, keep going.
No, you're good. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to change it up. And animals also are highly regarded symbols around the world, right? So obviously in the United States, what is our kind of symbolic animal?
The eagle.
That's right. That's right.
Eagle.
Now, this...
Wait, is there any other ones besides for the eagle in America? That we, even though the bald eagle is the ultimate.
That's the ultimate. I don't know what else we would... Yeah, I don't know what else we would use.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either.
So, Jared, I'm going to give you some animals, and I want you to tell me some countries that you think these animals would be like the eagle for the United States. So we'll start off with the lion.
I like this.
What are some places where the lion is the kind of the symbol for this country? And it doesn't mean the lions have to live there either.
Okay, because my first thing was it has to be Africa because that's where lions are.
So which countries there you think?
Well, yeah. I have a couple guesses. South Africa,
Okay, I don't see it on this list, but it could be.
Kenya,
Yep, Kenya's on the list. Good job.
Tanzania,
Tanzania is not on this list, but it could also be there.
Nigeria.
Nope, not on this list either. Give me some European countries.
Would that have a lion?
There's a couple of them.
Not Germany.
Nope, definitely not Germany. Theirs is also
Lion.
the eagle in Germany.
Yeah, they do have the eagle. The eagle kind of... Does that eagle have any negative connotations to it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
A lion. That's hard when you're outside of the place where lions are native.
Right.
And so you just kind of choose a cool animal.
Right. Yeah.
Italy? Why would they choose a
Nope,
lion?
not
then?
Italy. All right.
That doesn't seem like their
let
style.
me let me tell you. The European countries
Sweden,
I have here.
Norway.
No. Nope. Okay.
I can imagine like a Scandinavian country adopting
nope.
a tough animal like that.
I don't see a Scandinavian country, but here I'll give them to you. Belgium, England, Luxembourg,
Oh, I knew the England one.
And
'cause
the
that's
Netherlands.
Their football. Their football.
Right. and the Netherlands as well.
Sorry, I cut you
You're
off.
good.
Okay.
So yeah.
Luxembourg as well.
Right. All right. How about the golden eagle
The
or
golden
the bald eagle?
Oh, okay. So we have the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the greatest land. No, and so other countries that have adopted the bald eagle. Germany, as we've said, is one
Germany's
of them.
one of them.
Poland, right?
I think that I could be wrong, but I think that might be a hawk. I don't know
Okay.
if it's an eagle or a hawk. It could be an eagle.
Because I do believe Poland has a bird, don't they?
Yeah, they have a bird. So does
Like
Austria.
a tough bird. Is it the
I
bald eagle?
think it's also the eagle in Austria. How about in Africa?
Okay.
Any places in Africa you think?
There are a lot of eagles and hawks in Africa. Did I tell you when I was in South Africa and I saw an eagle eat a snake whole, a deep throated that thing?
You did not.
Did I tell you that?
You did not tell me that. That's crazy.
Literally, there was just an eagle in a tree. Like we saw it land in a tree with a big snake in its claws, and it just took the eagle, like the snake, this hawk or eagle or something like that, and it just put it in its mouth, and just the whole snake just went. It just went down its throat.
That's crazy.
And it was quite a sight to take in.
I'm sure it was. Not South Africa though.
African country. No, they're lion. We said that, right?
The lion. Yep.
Eagle. Huh. Is it West African country?
East African country.
Ghana? Okay, East African. Nigeria.
Nope. It's Egypt.
Because that's Egypt. Huh.
Egypt. Uh-huh.
Damn. I guess that makes sense.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
I
how
guess that
about the
makes sense.
tiger? The tiger.
I'm going to assume India.
No.
Interesting, because that's obviously a lot of tigers there. Where else do
You're
tigers
close
exist?
though. You're close though.
Nepal,
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Yes, Bangladesh. Very good. Malaysia.
Okay, Malaysia.
Then also South Korea and Vietnam.
Are there no tigers in South Korea? Are there?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I have no idea.
Or Vietnam for that matter.
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, it's really interesting though which animals are the animals that symbolize or represent a country. And then there are also some animals. I'm just really quickly. I have a list as well of...
What are the worst animal representations for countries?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like muskrat or something.
Probably. Right.
I mean, but if any country like actually uses it, though,
Right.
Who knows?
So here's 7 sacred animals. So number 1, as you probably know, Jared, is the cow, which is a very important creature, especially in Hinduism. And so, and the reason for the cow's sacred status usually has to do with its helpfulness as a species. We drink their milk, use their poop as fertilizer, and also historically use them to till our fields. So there you go. The next animal is monkeys, which are also a part of Hinduism. In Hinduism, they view monkeys as very culturally significant animals. And one of the reasons is there is a prominent monkey god named Hanuman, and there's a sacred monkey forest in Bali that contains a large population of macaques who live among the temples that commemorate the Hindu principle of Trihatakaran, which encourages people to live harmoniously with one another and the environment.
Spread a little love.
Exactly. And then what's also interesting, the Japanese proverb, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, is also represented by 3 monkeys. Each monkey covers his eyes, ears, and mouth, respectively.
Yeah, that's a very popular imagery.
Right.
On my emoji list. I would add one more to that.
Go for it.
I would say the Americans... I'd say the Americans have deified dogs in this culture we live in, and dogs almost to some people seem to have a ranking above humans.
Yeah,
which sometimes I find disturbing.
I would say the same for cats as well in the United States. The interesting thing about dogs, though, is in India, they actually have a 5-day Hindu festival which is dedicated to dogs, which is really cool. It's called Tihar. In the Chinese New Year, the second day is considered the birthday of dogs, a day when you should be extra kind to your canine companion. And even though ancient Egyptians were better known for their love of cats, dogs also got quite a bit of respect, and they were associated with Anubis, the god of the underworld.
In Korea, where it's a little bit more socially acceptable to consume dogs, they have I don't want to call it a festival, but sort of a dog eating sort of like it's like parade, not parade, but like it's like, hey, this is like, oh, we're going to celebrate the dog eating and specifically do that.
I thought that was in China. Or maybe it's in both.
Maybe they do it in China as well, but I just happened to hear about it happening in Korea from a podcast. Yes, but it was hosted by a Korean American.
Okay,
he was a comedian.
So they should know. Okay,
and he lies all the time. It was Bobby Lee.
Oh,
I should never
gotcha.
take any. By the way, never take anything he says seriously.
That's fair.
But,
he's hilarious,
I feel like
though. He is so hilarious.
He is hilarious, but he's also the worst person to get any sort of take anything seriously from because he's sort of a habitual liar.
Right. Well, he's a comedian. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm not shitting on him. He's a comedian.
Right.
But I'm just saying, me having just quoted him as if that's anything I could take as fact.
Exactly.
Just like without actually doing any sort of follow-up research.
Right. Exactly.
It seems ballsy on my part.
That is true. That's a good point. All right. Well, moving on. I think it's time for us to share our song of the pod, which sadly is not that song, but it's a catchy tune. And Jared, did you know that? So first of all, the song of the pod is "Man Gave Names to All the Animals," and the version that
one of our rare Americans.
Yes.
Americans we have.
That's true. And it's the song though was not written by Jason Mraz. Do you have any idea who wrote the song?
Stevie Wonder.
Nope. No, known as a very prolific songwriter, but doesn't have the best singing voice in the world.
Oh, Bob Dylan.
Yes, sir.
He's the most famous great writer, terrible singer.
Right, exactly. But the song is called "Man Gave Names to All the Animals," and
I love this
I'm
song.
curious.
I've never heard it before.
So
what
what are your thoughts on it, Jared?
Well, I'm not a big Jason Mraz fan. Not that I have anything against him. It's just not my style, so I've never really listened to much of his stuff. But I like the melody, like the music behind the actual singing,
Right.
and then I just like it's it's a very Chad song because it's like sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like goofy or funny?
It's upbeat.
Or like kind of like not jokey,
It's
but like
lighthearted
it's sort of
and
like
upbeat,
goofy,
I would say.
but without going too like corny or too hacky.
Right.
Like it's still written well enough and well enough played musically where it's like, oh, this is still an enjoyable to listen to. Like it's not too jokey. Like
Right.
it hasn't crossed over to Weird Al Yankovic levels of playing around with words.
Right. It's a fun song, but it's not a parody.
Yes. And so that's why I like it very much because it holds that line perfect for me where it's like, oh, this puts a smile on my face, but I'm not rolling my eyes at
Right.
it. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay.
That's the best way I can explain it.
And I love the descriptions. Like saw an animal up on the hill. Let me listen to the rest of it. Chewing up so much grass until she was filled. He saw milk coming out, but he didn't know how.
And so he called her a
He
cow.
said, I think I called a cow. Yeah, it's just great. It's great. It rhymes. It's very catchy. It's a fun song. It's very apropos for today's episode.
Right. Yeah, it is. Good find. Especially since, a little behind the scenes, last minute find. Neither of us were prepared for this episode as far as Song of the Pod.
Exactly.
Goes. We were prepared for everything else, to be fair.
That's true.
Just so you guys know.
That's
why
true.
it was so hilarious and fun.
It's a good one. I was thinking of what could be anything, topic related, and I was like, oh my god, I love this song. We should do this one. So check out.
You just know this song for a
I
while,
have.
like it's just been something that you've heard before.
Oh yeah, I've known this song for years, probably at least 3 or 4 years, if not longer. So check that out on our Twitter, Untranslatable One. Man gave names to all the animals, originally written by Bob Dylan,
Quirky,
funkified, and I don't want to say improved, but just funkified and given a new style with Jason Mraz. So check that out.
Is he usually more of a less electric less electric artist?
Correct.
Because
It's more acoustic.
And maybe I always pictured him more of like a Jack Johnson style acoustic guitar, and maybe just a simple drum set in the
I'd
background.
say he would be a
something.
more upbeat, jazzier kind of Jack Johnson. I would say.
But still usually acoustic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wasn't
You weren't too far
wrong
off.
in thinking
Not at all.
that
Not at
was
all.
sort of odd Jason Mraz to hear.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, but I still liked it nonetheless.
Exactly.
It was
It's
good.
fantastic.
Good choice.
All right. Well, Jared, as our listeners know by now, we are both on the road, maybe a slow road, but on the road nonetheless to becoming a polyglot. And it's time for me to share my Czech word of the pod. And the Czech word is zvíře. Zvíře.
I feel like you're getting better with that accent, though.
A lot of
Yeah.
practice. Any ideas what that means? Zvíře?
Animal.
Very good. You are on fire today.
Výborný. I'm pretty. I have been killing it.
You have been.
From untranslatables to Czech word of the pod. Granted, there is some context that I can put to
Right.
the Czech word of the pod.
I'm gonna have to start making these way different, so it'll make your life a little more challenging.
I do like that you keep them because the point of the Czech the pod in general is to be just simple everyday words, not some sort of fancy word that you're never going to use.
Right.
And so it's nice that it's also kind of on top because animal, even though that's not going to be a go-to word for you in your next 5 months, probably
not.
It's still a common word. Like it's like knowing animal is probably a good thing for any.
Oh, definitely. And
sorta
there's a zoo.
speaker
There's
to
a
this
zoo
know.
here in Chomutov, so
Yeah, it's filled with Svieže.
that's right. That's right.
What is it called?
Svieže.
How do you say it? Svieže.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
close
I can't
enough.
do
That's
that.
close
I haven't
enough.
practiced that.
Well, your problem is you can't do the r,
Výborný.
and you need the
Yeah.
r combined with the j sound, the sh, to do it, and it's really hard to do. Trust me, I couldn't do it at all when I first came here. All right, Jared, it's time for me to unpack the corniness and cheesiness and give you some good jokes. So here we go.
You betcha.
So, Jared, which dog breed is guaranteed to laugh at all of your jokes?
Chihuahua.
Wow. Have you
really?
heard that one
Sorry.
before? Good word.
Yes.
Good word.
I hate stealing. I hate ruining the
It
joke.
didn't ruin it. You got the punchline, my dude. You just got to say it with more gusto and you're
happening?
good.
I just assumed I was getting it wrong.
that was
That's why I
right.
didn't say with gusto.
What do you get when you cross
I'll cut it together
There
and
you go.
make it work.
There you go. What do you get when you cross a fish and an elephant?
What do you get when you cross a fish
With an elephant.
and an elephant? I don't know. I have no
Swimming
idea.
trunks.
Swimming trunks. Oh, I get it.
Right?
The elephant goes thwomp.
Yeah, kind of.
What do you get when you cross a centipede with a parrot? Although that would be terrifying, what would you get? What would you call it?
Oh my god!
And does it have
Just imagine a flying centipede that can talk.
right?
A centipede with a parrot. I don't know what
A
is it.
walkie-talkie.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's a Gias for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Where it's like that's really stupid, but I can't help but laugh at that.
Right. Why did the kangaroo stop drinking coffee?
Because I found the coffee break. Never went back.
No, because it got too jumpy.
It was a bad time for me to take a sip of my coffee break.
That was.
By the way, just almost done.
Oh, nice. What do you call, or where are fish, or what do you call a fish that is in orbit?
A fish that is in orbit. A fish that's in... Oh, I know what it is.
What is it?
A solar fishdom.
No, they're in trouter space.
Okay. I love how confident I was. A solar fishdom, of
Right.
course. That's actually a real thing, by the way. Listen to my conspiracy theorist podcast.
Exactly.
We're all controlled by flying fish.
All right. And the last one, where do orcas like to hear music?
Hold me for Michael Jackson like the River Jordan. For our Free Willy fans out there. I don't know. What's the answer?
Orchestras.
That's good.
Right?
That's a good plan of words
Right?
right there.
I thought that was pretty solid. All right. Well, we have come to the time for the quote of the pod. And today, my quote is from an Austrian Israeli philosopher named Martin Buber. And it is,
Who dat?
an animal's eyes have the power to speak a great language. Although we as humans have come up with plenty of crazy onomatopoeia words to describe their animal sounds, I think the amazing thing with animals is the way they communicate with their eyes and with their bodies. And as someone whose parents have a dog, I can definitely say an animal's eyes definitely have the power to speak a great language.
Especially you that in your lifetime you've had 3 different dogs, right?
Yep.
3 different dogs of the same breed.
Correct.
So you've seen both similarities in these dogs and then vast differences in personalities,
Of
I
course.
assume.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that sometimes if it's fun to go down weird rabbit holes, say if is to think about just an area of science that, from what I've heard, is vastly vastly misunderstood or not researched enough or figured out enough, is just the communication of animals and plants that we don't, the level of communication that we're not even aware of, and
Right.
that even a lot of plants or simple organisms that we conceive to be simple have communication networks that we don't even understand. Apparently, there's some plant that I heard about that if if an animal starts chewing on it, it releases an odor or some sort of pheromone in the air that can contact in the same plant for miles, like that
Really?
scent travels.
Okay.
And it can alter the taste of those plants.
Oh, interesting.
So it then becomes unappetizing for other, like for
that's
that
fascinating.
animal.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy all the defense mechanisms that are out there for different plants and animals, for sure. It's a whole different type of communication. Absolutely.
Yeah, and which makes it even more funny to me when us as humans, this regardless of what language you speak, try to add these noises to what an animal sound like. One, because it's like these animals just makes one kind of noise. First of all, so it's just so funny that we try to decide what they sound like.
What's funny though too is animals use these noises to communicate with us. If you think about it, I mean, obviously they use it to communicate with each other as well. But I think animals can probably communicate with each other using so many more complex things other than just sound. Whereas we basically have...
Like that dog whimpering noise?
Right.
That's a famous one. Everyone knows what that means. It's like, I don't know what is happening, but I know that dog is sad for some reason.
Exactly.
If you hear that whimpering noise.
Right, for sure. Definitely. Well, yeah, but it's really fascinating all the different animal sounds there are in different cultures. And what different animals symbolize, that's for sure. It's really fascinating. And we hope you have enjoyed our episode today. Let us know what animal noises you use in your native language. You can let us know via Twitter, Untranslatable1, Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, or shoot us an email with any stories you have about communication with animals or animal sounds in your native country at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. We hope you've enjoyed today's episode and maybe learned some new animal sounds you can test out when you're traveling places and meeting new people. So we hope you can use those to your advantage. Exactly. So here at the Untranslatable Podcast, we have to say we appreciate your support. Take a look at our different social media channels. And until next time, and dziękujemy.